Hey folks, it's Jordan. It's been requested that I do a video for recoding variables, specifically making dummy variables for a nominal variable. So what does this mean? Why do we need to do this? Well, we're running linear regression now at this point, so we need things to be able to be compared. And when you have a variable like ethnicity, which we can see here is a nominal variable, the computer doesn't know how to compare the answers that were given. So for example, here we have in this data set, each of these numbers that's in the data represents this. We know that because we put this in here. But the computer doesn't know how to compare these different things mathematically in a linear way. So we have to change these, and we need to change them so that one variable equals somebody is African American or not. The next variable equals someone is Indian or Alaskan or they're not. That way the computer can compare variable 1 to variable 2 in a meaningful way. So I know that kind of sounds confusing, but we're going to walk through how to do this because you need to do this in order to make meaningful comparisons for a regression model. So this should be one of the first things you've done with your data before you run any kind of linear tests on it. So let's go back out here. This is a different data file than you have, so we're going to find ethnicity, and you're going to check and see what your values are here, and this is in your variable view. And then we need to create, we know now we have 7 answers. We need to create 7 different variables for this. So we're going to go out to data view. We can find our variable that we're going to change here. And we can use this button to go back and forth between the values we've given it and the numbers that are the answer. And we're going to transform this variable. We're going to recode into a different variable. If you recode into the same variable, it's going to change your main one. So you want to recode into a different one so you keep this one and create a new one. Recode into different variables. And then this box is going to come up. You want to find the variable you want to change and bring it over into this window with this button. So now you can see here we have race or ethnicity, and it's going to be changed into a new variable. We're going to name that variable. And the first, let's see, what was the first race here? African American. Okay, so 1, the first one equals African American. So I'm going to go through 2 of these to show you how to do this. So we're going to go through 1 and 2, African American and Indian or Alaskan. Okay, so transform, recode into different variables, bring your variable that you want to change over here, and let's name the first variable that we're going to make African American. Now you have to put an output variable here and click change before you can do anything about changing this variable. So again, name this what you would like and then click change, and now you can see up here that this variable is going to change into this one, and that'll be out here in our data set when we're done with this. Okay, so we click change, go to old and new variables, and this screen will come up. So the value that we know we want to change was 1, which we know means African American, and if they are African American, we're going to give them a 1. So this lets the computer see that it's either 1 or 0, and this is how all computing bits of information work in a way. So the computer now knows that when it sees a 1, which we know means African American, it gives it the value of 1. That means that person is African American. And now for all the other values, which would be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, the other ethnic choices, we're going to give that value 0. So now when the computer sees that a person is Alaskan, they know not to mark them in this category, because only people in this category are African American. Okay, so value 0, add. So that's how you're going to do that. So now you have, again, 1 equals African American they are. If they're not, they get a 0. And then continue. Everything is done here, so click OK. Your syntax comes up, and go back over here to your data set, and you can now see you have a group, a new variable, which is African American, and the computer can understand this now in a way that will give you a meaningful linear regression, in that it can compare this variable 1 with this variable, which could be a 1 or a 0. So it just, if you don't understand that mathematically, that's okay, but this is what you have to do to make meaningful predictors against your DV. So we can go modify this now. So let's go to variable view. Let's find the new variable we have here. African American, we just created this one. Let's go to values. It has none. We're going to give it a value. So now we know that 1 means African American. And we know that there's a 0 in this variable that equals not African American. So why do we do this? It makes it easy to keep track. It makes it easy for you to remember what your values are that you've set for these arbitrary numbers. And then we click OK. Now we can go out here, and here's the new variable we've created. And this little fantastic button up here lets you remember what it is you're giving a 1 or a 0 to. So let's do this one more time. Transform, recode into different variables. Now you can see it's going to save everything I have up here. So I'm going to undo that and redo it for the next one. So the next one was Indian Alaskan. So we're going to name it that. And we hit change first, and now we can see that the ethnic variable, race variable we have, we're going to take some stuff and make it into a new one. So change has been clicked, all the new variables. And now we remember that 2, well, first let's take these. It's going to save everything you do if you have that option on, so remove these. Now remember that 2 in our survey was the answer Indian or Alaskan. So that's why we want to use this value here. We remember that 1 is African American. So now 2 is going to equal 1. If they answered that they are that, then they are that by either being it with a 1 or not being it with a 0. So then all other variables, we're going to give that a 0. So now the computer knows that if somebody answers 2, they are Alaskan or Indian, and if they do not, then they are not. Continue. OK. And here's our new variable. We can see that a 1 means they are, 0 means that they are not. And we can change that so we can better understand it in our variable view. Select values, 1, Indian or Alaskan. I'm getting lazy now. And then 0 means that they are not. Okay. Now we can go back out here to our data view, and we can see that we've made 2 new variables here. Now let's run a quick regression to show you that these values or these variables work much better than if you've been running the whole variable of ethnicity in your data against a dependent variable. That's normally going to give you a non-significant relationship, because the computer doesn't understand how to compare within that variable the differences in ethnicity until you show it to do it like this. So then you would do it like you would use your other variables. You're going to regression, linear, and now instead of moving the whole ethnic variable over, you pick your individual variables and move them into your independents, and then of course whatever your dependent variable is. So now these are still nominal, but they're dichotomous, or they're binary, in that there's only yes or no answer, which makes the computer understand how to do this. So then we can run our regression really quick, and we can see that they do in fact work. So then, this stuff comes up, which you are hopefully learning how to read. And you can see that this is not a significant linear relationship because of here. Anyway, it does run through, so this is not a significant amount of proportion of what makes up the GPA. So anyway, I hope that this has been helpful, and that you are making progress on understanding how to use SPSS. So you would want to repeat this for all of your ethnicities in order to be able to use, if you are going to use that as an independent variable in your project, you're going to have to transform the data to make it right. So good luck with that. I'll have another video out pretty soon about path analysis, which is more difficult. If you have the Amos software, that makes imaging it easy. I'm not really a Word person, so I'll try to get on Excel or some kind of draw program and show you how to draw that out. Alright, good luck today. Talk to you later.